Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All for United, where Manchester United is the topic of discussion. And today I have with me my man Semps. How you doing,
What's
bro?
going on? What's going on, people? Hope everyone's well.
Yes, sir. And I have Gary with me as well.
Morning.
Morning, guys. And I'm your humble host, Temi. Guys, make sure to subscribe to All for United on all platforms: Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all of it. And today we're going to be discussing the preview for our Carabao matchup against Brighton, the team we just faced this past weekend. And if anyone who watched, and I'm assuming you are, if you're tuning into this stream, you know full well that this is not going to be an easy game. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of changes. Um, there's a lot of focus on other things, at least for Manchester United fans, i.e., the transfer window. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're not going to talk about that today. All the focus is on this game. So I'm gonna start with Samson. The first question I'm gonna ask him is, you know, one, what did you feel about the last game against Brighton? What should we take away from it, and add to the next game?
Um, I think it's a little bit of the same that we've been seeing against Crystal Palace and towards the end of last season. Is that I don't know whether it's fitness or whether it's coaching or what, but we lack that intensity straight from the beginning. The possession is too slow, the build up is too slow, and I don't think we going into games, taking like thinking that it's going to be easy, but they seem to be playing in first gear at the moment when they need to really up it. So going forward, I think one thing I want to see from today's game is more intensity in our play to sharpen it up a bit, especially through midfield. I think that it was too slow on the weekend through midfield, through Pogba, through Matic, and even Bruno Fernandes. I think the build-up play is too slow. So I want to see a little bit more intensity today.
No, I completely agree with that, Sems. But I feel like it's been like that for the past few months, ever since the Southampton game where we
Yeah,
drew 2-2 in the league. It's been like this, and it hasn't changed. It seems like we have some high highs as a team, and we have some low lows. So, Gary, what do you think we need to do, maybe lineup wise, maybe formation wise, to kind of switch things up real quick? This comment, Jacob OC says that holding midfield two is usually too deep, slow to dictate the game properly. Ali has to see this. We are not sustaining pressure, and even against Brighton, it didn't prevent constant counterattacks. That is a great comment. Gary, what do you think we need to do to kind of make this build up play better?
Well, I still think we're lacking match fitness, sharpness on a majority of the players, to be honest. I do think he'll do a very different lineup tonight. He won't go full strength. But yeah, I think we did start very slow on Saturday against Brighton, and they really went for it, which they're going to do again tonight. So we just got to be a bit more aware. Yeah, I still think it's down to the sharpness and the fitness, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
No, I agree with that to an extent, but my problem is where's the excuse for, I mean, I feel like everyone is going through that same
mm,
challenge. Obviously, we probably had a week, where we had a week extra to kind of come back into the season, obviously because of Europa League, but it just seems like there's no new ideas, and this happens very often, when we go through these lulls as a team, for however long it seems like. Um, Even last year, we kind of went through a similar thing very early on in the season where we just couldn't create. But now we have Pogba and Bruno, so I struggle to see where the um what the issue is right now. Honestly, if it's a coaching thing, if it's the players are fit thing, or it's a mixture of both. But
I don't
Sam,
think
so what? Go
I
ahead,
don't think
Gary.
it's, sorry, I don't think it's the coaching. I would never question the coaching. Maybe when Josie was there, definitely, but I think the coaching is definitely not the issue. I think it's the fitness and the sharpness, and maybe we've got found out a little bit of the way we play since the restart. Since the restart, we were on fire, and then as the games progressed, like you said, from Southampton, it changed a little bit. But I think Southampton are probably known as one of the best pressing teams in Europe. Believe it or
Oh yeah,
not.
Oh
They
yeah.
really do press, and I think that's what we struggle. Teams really press us. They tend to press us
But
a lot more.
But then,
100%.
Gary, you say that it's not the coaching, but we're seeing repeated, like we're seeing the same thing time and time again. So for me, if we're seeing the same things time and time again, then we should be working on a way to eradicate the same mistakes or a different way of playing. So if we know that teams are going to press us, then we need to find a different way of playing. Whether we change the approach, we stop trying to play out from the back and we go long to try and beat that first press, or in attack, like you say, we're seeing the same slow build-up play in attack at the moment as well. Obviously, Pogba and Bruno are now in the same team. There wasn't Pogba before lockdown. I don't quite think that that's worked well. We're not getting the best out of Pogba. We're not getting the best out of Bruno since they've both been in the team. Maybe that then also needs to change. So, yes, Ollie has a lot to do. He's a big job and everything, but I do think that we do need to think about the coaching side of things when we're seeing the same things repeatedly over and over again.
Are we questioning Carrick then, and are we questioning McKenna, Kieran McKenna? Are they the two? Because they're the ones that are probably doing the training.
I think it would be everybody.
So that's a great point. I don't think we necessarily know who's on the training pitch every single day, right? But at the same time, there seems to be we seem to be very reactive as opposed to proactive. You know what I mean? Especially when we get in these spurts. So we had a great run, but if you really look at Ollie's tenure, there's been a big chunk of it where we've struggled to break teams down. It's that simple. We've had an extreme problem with breaking teams down, and there has to be some. I agree with Sam. There has to be some form of where is the pattern of play? What's the style? Because sometimes I still to this day sometimes don't know what we want to do on a game-to-game basis, especially when we're facing a smaller team. But Sam, I want to ask you this question. Obviously, we're going into this Carabao Cup game. Who do you think? Who would you like to see? Because obviously, especially in the midfield right now, it seems this Pogba Bruno Matic thing. It obviously when we first saw them playing together, it was beautiful. Now we're seeing a bit of maybe it's match fitness that's an issue, like Gary mentioned, but it just seems like there's something missing there. Do we need to bring in the likes of a Fred, maybe potentially a McTominay? I'm not sure. To kind of give us something different, because Pogba's playing in such a deep position is just not where he's supposed to be, in my opinion. It's holding him back. It's keeping him. It's putting him in a place where he really doesn't want to be. Sam, so what do you think we need to do in that midfield to kind of freshen things up and get some creativity going again consistently?
Well, to be honest, I don't think that Ollie's going to change the formation. He only seems to really go with the three when we're playing much bigger teams. We're expected to still keep the ball or have the majority of the ball against Brighton. But I've got down on my paper that I would like to see Fred and Scott play today. Because again, when I'm talking about the intensity and the speed of play, I think those two in this type of game could give us that. You've got Fred, that's more the snappy one. He's tenacious in the tackle, and you've got Scott McTominay that can then break forward and try and inject that energy further up the field. And obviously Donny van der Beek needs to come in as well. And that's probably where in this game we're going to get a little bit more energy and creativity in the final third. I don't see Martial playing today, possibly a Rashford. I don't see it, but he could possibly play Rashford. But for me, Donny van der Beek, Fred and Scott McTominay would be the three that I would like to see playing today, because that has work rate, it has energy, and it has a bit of quality in Donny van der Beek that can maybe try and unlock the door further up the field.
Right. That's a great point. And this comment right here is interesting. I'd like to see a switch to the 4-3-3, Fred holding VDB beside McTominay. And this is interesting because when Ollie first joined the club, he was playing a 4-3-3 for the first what was it? That whole back half of the season where he came in as the interim manager. And I wonder why we haven't gone back to that. because that was the best. I still to this day I still think that period where he just came in was the best we've ever seen under Ollie. That first 6-month stretch or 5-month stretch, whatever it was. Guys, would you want to see a change or a formation? This 4-2-3-1. It's very, especially with the players we have. Do you, Gary? Do you want to see us maybe make a tactical change? Because it seems like the 4-2-3-1 is what Ollie wants to go with, but it in my opinion, it kind of restricts us. What do you think?
I think you can only do a 4-2-3-1 if you've got McTominay and Matic there, or even Fred. I think because we've got the likes of Pogba, Van der Beek, and Fernandes, I don't think you can play that system. 4-3-3 is probably more effective. But I get what you guys are saying. We need to change it up a little bit, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone with Van der Beek, Fred, and Pogba in midfield, surprisingly, because I think Pogba needs to be playing some more games, more match time. Fred, sometimes he can be effective in a holding position. And I've also gone with James and Martial and Rashford as the three up front, because I think James needs to be playing. I mean, James, there was talk about him going to Leeds, wasn't there? But I don't think that's going to be happening now. I think we're going to keep hold of him. It all depends if we get Sancho, which I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it would be tough to let go of James right now. We don't have any right-sided players, if we're being completely honest. James is a left.
We got Mata. But again,
yeah. But yeah, it's just I mean, Matt's not going to play consistent games. Matt's going to be a cup player. He's going to be a guy we rely on. In games like this against Brighton. Exactly. He's probably going to see some game time.
We relied on him against Luton, and yet he got man of the match. So
yeah,
it was Luton. But
I see this comment right here. Go ahead.
The thing is. No, I'm just saying that the matter on the right hand side is where we've struggled, because Matter's obviously a decent player. He's getting on in age now. He's lost his legs, but we're not balanced, and especially on the right hand side when Wan-Bissaka's playing, he needs a little bit more in front of him, because as we know, he's not the best going forward. So Matter comes inside all of the time, and we're just so unbalanced. So this is why we should have focused on getting a right-sided player. But James could feature today. I totally agree with that, Gary. I had him on my sort of second string team that I thought possibly could play today. James, we could well see him. And you know what? This could well be a game for James that could work for him, because it's not necessarily going to be a team that's going to sit by. They're going to take the game to us today. Make no mistakes about it. And there then may be that space in behind for James to exploit. And it's not. Yeah, it could work for him today.
No, I think this is a game for Dan James. If he can't play in this game, then he shouldn't be playing. Period. It's important for him to get cup game time. Especially in a cup game like this, a team who plays football like Brighton. One of the things I love about Brighton is we should be beating them every time, because they play football against us. They always want to, be on the front foot. They're not going to sit back to you. A lot of the times in the previous game we just watched, we were the ones kind of with our backs against the wall, which was frustrating to think about. But I see this comment here from Joe O'Neill. Guys, real quick, what are your thoughts on Donnie's agent hitting out at MUFC because of lack of playing time? Not good. Gary, what are your thoughts on that?
Has he been quoted as saying that, or was that just something made up? It's absolute nonsense. We played two games, and already they're saying his agent's questioning him not playing enough games. Is he another Raiola? At the end of the day, he should keep his mouth shut. It's down to the manager who he picks, not the agent. The agent's got his fee out of it, but no, Van der Beek, just bring him in gently. He is going to be a quality player for us. What I've seen him from him so far against Luton and against, Palace, he scored on his debut. I know it wasn't the great on the wrong end of the result, but his movement, he's unselfish, moving off the ball. He is going to be a class player for us. And his agent saying that, if he's been quoted as saying that, just doesn't help things. It really doesn't.
It doesn't help things at all. But I think we all know that Donnie's going to be. I wonder if he'll end up, being a starter consistently for throughout the course of the season, because I can't imagine him, Bruno, him, Bruno, and Pogba really ever being a midfield three, in my opinion. I just don't think that ever is going to work. So, but we all know that Pogba struggles with injury problems. So he's going to have an opportunity for sure this season to get consistent game time and force his way into that lineup, which is exciting. This comment right here, I felt Lingard had a good game against Luton and he can start instead of Mata.
Yeah.
Would this be Sam, would this be a game for maybe Jesse to come in and prove himself again? He did have it. I said this in the match review. I think that's the best I've seen Jesse play since like the year before. So do you think he should maybe get another chance? We do need to get some form of consistency out of our right side. Do you think he's a potential option there going forward as a backup?
Yeah, I think Lingard will play today, and I'm always one to say that what we need quality over work rate. Some people was always like he works hard, and I'm just like, what, we need quality players at this football club. But in this moment in time, for me personally, I want to see intensity. I want to see movement. I want to see work rate. I want to see a bit of energy that I've just not seen. It looks like we're sleeping when we're playing at the moment. It's really annoying. So for me, somebody like a Lingard comes in and automatically gives you that little bit more work rate. Like, I want to see us pressing from the front. Do you know what I mean? And if Lingard's playing today, I think we can then start to see that. So yeah, Lingard would be in there. It makes sense to get a James in there. That's what I mean, a Donny van der Beek in there. These are all players that have energy, that can get across the ground quickly. Fred can get across the ground quickly. Scott McTominay, he's not a slouch as well. Scott McTominay can put it about. You know what I mean? He wants it. He's a United boy. So yeah, I think this is a good game for Lingard to come into. I agree that Lingard did have a good game. And you know what? With all of the issues that Lingard has had off the field, people do need to recognize that footballers are not robots, they're human beings. And sometimes these things, everybody deals with things in different ways. So these things can affect your performance on the pitch. I, for one, am sort of rooting for him to try and get some form of form back. Not to say that he's ever going to be a starter in my eyes, but to be a good squad player.
Yeah, that since you brought up, I think you brought up a great point about pressing from the front. I don't know where that went within the past year. If you remember preseason of last year, against the likes of like Inter, we were pressing tremendously, and we started the season that way too against Chelsea, even against Wolves last season, and just gradually over time, we've just seen us kind of become very passive in the way we operate when the opponent wins the ball back. Why do you think that is? Maybe Gary, you can solve it for me. Why is there a lack of intensity defensively? We already struggle with kind of two slow center backs. If we relieve some pressure up front, and gave them some time to breathe, what is the logic behind us not pressing anymore?
I don't know. I'm completely lost.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we haven't really got obviously, we got Maguire and question marks over how much he costs and all this and that. And we, as I keep saying, we got our pants pulled down when we paid that amount of money for him. We just need another defender, a ball-playing defender. That's what we need at the back. I think I've said it before on here. We had Vidic and Ferdinand. Ferdinand was the ball-playing defender. Vidic was the out-and-out, going in for the headers, going in for the tackles. He wasn't the quickest. That's where you have Ferdinand for that. And that's what we're lacking. We're lacking that in the back. Lindelof isn't the fastest in the world. He really isn't. And I think he's a liability sometimes. And that's why I think tonight he'll probably go with Maguire and Bailly. I think Bailly, when as long as he's not injured, he's made of glass.
But this is what I mean, where we're talking about. Sorry to cut you there, Temi, but about coaching and the style of plays, because somebody made a comment there and saying that we don't dominate teams. I disagree with that to a certain extent. In the big games, we don't necessarily dominate teams. When we play against your Chelseas, Man Cities, your Liverpools, we know what we're going to get. We are going to play defensively and try and hit the teams on the counter. But generally speaking, last season, our issue was the fact that we had a lot of the ball and we struggled to break teams down. And I don't understand why we then play a Brighton, for example, and then go into our shape and invite pressure onto us. We should always be on the front foot because we do have players, Martial, Rashford, Greenwood. These guys are not slow players. Bruno Fernandes, he's not slow. When Bruno Fernandes goes to press, Martial's not going. If Martial goes to press, Rashford's not going. It's not done in unison. And that can only be, in my opinion, that can only be based on instructions. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It can only be instructions. And there seems to be, whether it's the fitness, which again doesn't make sense to me because you've had a whole season to get the players fit. I know COVID came and everything, but we weren't doing that before COVID. And these are professional footballers. They can get fit to do the press because Liverpool players are fit enough to do it. Man City players are fit enough to do it. So I think it is down to just the way that Ollie wants to play. And I don't like it.
And I completely agree with that. Sometimes I wonder if we're playing not to lose, and it feels like that in a lot of games. It feels like, we let's say we get a goal, and then it's like, okay, we got this goal. Let's just keep it tight. Let's sit back. Yeah. Let's and that's the exact thing we used to criticize Mourinho for. Big time. Mourinho used to do this. He would get up on goal, then just park the bus. Ollie's, if we're being completely honest, Ollie does the same exact thing. He does the same exact thing. We'll get up a goal or two, and he'll sit back, or we're attempting to break teams down, and there's just a lack of ideas. But anyway, let's talk about real quick. Let's just talk about maybe predictions for this game in terms of what you think the scoreline is going to be. I see right here a prediction for 3-1. In this game. I'm wondering what your guys' thoughts are on how this game will flow. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think this is going to be at max 2-0 or a 1-0 for us. When we rotate, we know what happens. It's what we saw on Saturday, but worse. So if we're rotating, let's say Igalo comes in by any chance, or we take out Pogba for Fred. That's a goal threat gone right there. Maybe we take out Bruno for Van de Beek. I think obviously we've seen Van de Beek has the ability to, get into dangerous positions in the box and score. So I don't think we're losing much there. But guys, if we are rotating the way I think we're going to rotate, what do you think the scoreline is going to be? Sam, so you can go ahead and start.
Caught me cold now. I didn't think about score lines.
Let me go first.
You go, Gary. You go.
1-1, and it'll go to penalties. There you go.
Wow.
Oh, Gary.
1-1 to penalties. Honestly, that is the most objective. That is the most objective I've heard someone be in a while, and I appreciate that.
Well, I think the way we've been talking this morning, I think they'll get an early goal, and then we'll get a goal at maybe 10 minutes to go, maybe 5 minutes, and it will go to penalties because there's no extra time, is there? So I think that's what will possibly happen. There you go, Sims.
Yeah, Patrick Ward joining us. He says the only good defender we have is Juan, and that's a hard reality. Wow, the only other worth mentioning is Maguire, but he's not got the agility. Before we touch on that, because that's a great comment. Sams, we gave you some time. What do you think the scoreline's going to be?
So yeah, I'm glad, Gary, you said what you said, because you know what it is I don't want to be negative up here on the platform. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
no, it's all...
I'm worried about today's because we're going to play a weakened team than what we played in the week. I mean, on the weekend, and they're gonna be better than us. I feel so. I'm hoping maybe we can get to penalties. But I fear that we could potentially go out today and possibly lose 2-1. I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative, but that's what I'm thinking.
It's real. Listen, I feel like on this platform, what we appreciate the most is honesty. As long as it's provided in a good way, you know what I mean. As long as it's not like, You know, oh,
Yeah,
we're shit, everyone's shit, you know, all this, you know,
yeah.
it's like we don't got to do all that. But if you're being blunt, you know,
That's it.
it's
I'm
all
always a
good.
positive person, and when it comes
Yeah,
to United, I'm not one to start cursing and stuff. But
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
way
yeah.
the way I see it is just, as I said, I think we're going to play a weakened team, and Brighton are no mugs, and it's a cup game as well. That's the other thing. You know, you get that extra from these teams in cup games, and I'm just hoping the players that I talked about can provide the intensity that I want. But I do fear that we'll go out today 2-1.
Yeah, I think my prediction is going to be a boring 1-0 today. We're going to win it by the scrape of our teeth, maybe a second half goal. I'm predicting if VDB starts, I think he's going to get a goal. So that's my prediction. 1-0
I
VDB.
think
But
it all depends on the lineup, doesn't it? Really, you know,
yeah,
how offensive is he going, or is he going defensive? You know.
yeah. In
So,
my
yeah,
opinion, I think he should go. I think he should go fairly strong. I really do. I
yeah.
really do. But he's not going to do it. We're talking about match fitness, and Gary, you brought this point up. Why, if we're struggling with match fitness, why aren't we getting these guys in a you know, in some form of rotation where, okay, play right now, play again on the weekend.
It's
That'll
a cup
yeah,
competition. We could be winning.
yeah.
It could
And
be, you know.
look what happened to Chelsea yesterday. If anyone who watched that game, you know, they rotated pretty heavily, and you know, Spurs did too. Spurs didn't start Kane, but you wanna get a chance to win these competitions, especially when you know you're the better team too. Because I mean, no matter what,
Oh, of course.
Brighton played better than. If we're being honest, Brighton probably played better than us from start to finish on Saturday. Probably played better than us for a lot of the game. Five times they hit the post, but we're the better team. So if we put out, let's say, 5 or 6 starters, why on earth won't we win this game comfortably? That is the question I really have for this management. You know, I mean, on Saturday, that was essentially our strongest side we played. Is that fair to say? You know, that was the
Yeah.
side that went on the run for that, you know, that great run post lockdown. It's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be very, very interesting. The comments are coming in thick and fast, guys. Everybody who's been watching, you know, make sure to keep on showing the love, keep on commenting right here. See, I also predict the Van de Beek man of the match. I see what you're saying, but with the players we have, we should have won all our games comfortably so far this season.
Yeah.
That's a very great point. We lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace at home.
3-1.
That's 3-1, excuse me. Thank you. Back to back years that we
lost to them at home.
At home after, what was it, almost 40 years of never losing to them at home. Crazy stuff.
They're no
Guys,
slouches. They beat City as
no
well
slouches.
last season.
No slouches, but I don't know. Brighton better. So Norwich beat City last season. Don't forget that. Brighton played better against Chelsea too. Brighton's a good team. I'm not here to disrespect Brighton or anything like that. You know, Brighton is a very well organized, well coached team. You know what I mean? Those players, none of those. How many of those players would get into our side? Let's be honest.
I think they're a well-run club, to be honest.
They're well-run club.
It puts our club to shame sometimes, the way some of these clubs and the way they go about their transfers.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, Lallana is a good signing for them. You know,
very good signing.
Brighton won't rotate. Brighton won't rotate. They won't rotate today.
Yeah, because they see an opportunity. They see an opportunity, and they're not a deep squad. They're not a deep squad, so they might rotate. They might rotate their front three. Yves Bissouma, who didn't play on the weekend, he's going to play today. That is a guarantee. One of their best midfielders we did not see will be playing. So that's going to be a very combative midfielder. I like him a lot. So, guys,
who's that player with Bayern Munich there as well? What's his name?
Oh man, I know who you're talking about. The name just eluded me. Well, every team can lose at any point. No team is flawed. Just got to take all things into consideration. Completely agree there.
Yeah.
Negativity toward Ali, not for Lampard. Brighton played well against Chelsea. No negativity. Just some objective conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is we're not talking about Chelsea at the moment. We're talking about Man United, and
100%.
We are the better team. So we can't then turn around and say that we're happy with that performance that we saw on the weekend. It was terrible, and we're not even just blaming Ollie. the players, there's something that's not quite right at the moment.
Yeah.
Whether it is fitness, whether it is the how we're playing, nobody actually knows apart from the players that are actually playing. But what I do know is that is not acceptable, and we need to see improvements. Simple.
Completely simple, and that's that. Samps, you're hitting the nail right on the head. Younger fans. This comment right here says younger fans will not tolerate Ali as much. Ali is a club legend, and that makes a huge difference. Ultimately, he was hired as an interim, and he made history. Yeah, he did do some historic things. I think what was it, 9 games on the trot? That was a very impressive.
What does he mean by younger fans will not tolerate?
Yeah, I guess he's talking about the football Twitter mentality. You know what I'm saying? People just being very, very reactionary. But if we're being honest, there's a lot of. I feel like if you're the Ali as a club legend thing shouldn't be attached to his CV as a manager. If we're being if we're being 100, what was it? Kenny Dalglish was the Liverpool manager. He was absolute shit. He was a club legend. It didn't make a difference. Didn't do anything. So, until
Ollie wins something, that's the thing.
It's gonna be the thing, and he desperately needs to win a trophy this year.
Like a trophy we could win.
I think last year we got City. We drew City in the what was it, the semifinal, and they wiped the floor with us. We had an opportunity to win the Europa League, didn't do it. So there's a lot of Arteta won the FA Cup. Young manager. So there's a lot of pressure on him.
But guys, let me just ask you this, because I was talking to somebody in the gym this morning, and funny enough, he has been on Ollie's back for a long time, and I've been arguing with him, defending Ollie. But you know what he said to me this morning? He said that he doesn't think winning a trophy is as important as we all think. He would prefer getting top 4 again over winning a trophy this season. So what do you guys think about that? Because I personally thought winning a trophy is going to be important for us, but he just thinks, you know what, keep the momentum going, get top 4 again, and then the trophy side will come.
I think the board will be happy with top 4 every season, but I don't think the fans are going to be accepting that. I won't accept that. We should be winning. Keno said the other night on Monday Night Football, he needs to be winning the trophy this season. Like top 4 every season is not really acceptable. Well, accepting just top 4 isn't acceptable as a United fan. We should be winning it every season. In the 90s, we were just, and then the noughties, we were forced to be reckoned with. We were the team to beat. So he needs to win a trophy this year. We had 3 attempts last year, 3 semi-finals, and he didn't get to any of the finals.
Yeah.
So he needs to win a trophy. Top 4 isn't acceptable. It's acceptable if we win top 4 and a trophy. That's a good season for him. But no way is top 4 just acceptable. Not
if he gets if we look at it on his face, let's say he finishes out this season, that would be 2.5 seasons. If he didn't, it would be 2.5 seasons without a trophy. Van Gaal won a trophy within that time period.
Jose did as well.
Jose won a trophy within that time period. So he can't afford. He just simply can't afford to not win a trophy this season. It sounds very stressful, but he needs to win a trophy if we're going to believe in this vision that the club and Ali has been preaching for so long. Very, very interesting comment here. Arguably, that night in Paris was a curse. We were all given false hope, and that may have tipped the owners to hire him as a manager. Had we lost that game, could we have seen a new manager? Very interesting. I don't want to call it a curse. That's a reach. That night in Paris was one of my favorite moments as a United fan, even though it was something small in the end of the day, but it was that run we were on and then topped off by that night in Paris was one of the best feelings I had in a long, long, long time.
Well, everyone was writing us off, weren't they? So that's the best thing, really, because they all wrote us off. And
it was a great, I mean, the fact of the matter is, yes, Ali did get hired because of the run he was on, not because of his previous CV. He's really done nothing in the game outside of winning a title for Molde, getting them to Europa League. But yeah, maybe potentially would have seen Pochettino right now. Who knows if that never happened. But we're coming up, I don't want to take too much time, guys. We're coming up on the end of the show, guys. We appreciate the interaction today. There's so many comments coming through, guys. We appreciate it. I'm going to see if I can, share some of these. I'd rather, great comment again here. I'd personally rather give a club legend a chance. We got third. It wasn't pretty. He may only have 4 months left at the club, even if we back him. Great point. in recent games, there didn't seem to be much of a playing style about us. I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. I'm an Ollie fan, but that is his fault. I'm assuming that is the comment right there. And yeah, no, this is what happens with Ollie. I think we go through runs where it looks like we are literally the most unplayable team in Europe, and then we go on runs where it looks, we can't beat, Crystal Palace. We struggle against Brighton. We struggled like last year, like Newcastle, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Wolves. The list goes on and on and on. But we're looking forward to this game, guys. We appreciate all the comments. Semps, my guy, came in, did a great job again. Gary, amazing job. We appreciate all the interaction. Make sure to follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Comment below. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Great interactions there. We talk transfers. We talk all the important things that are coming out within Manchester United. I'm going to give a chance for the guys to shout themselves out real quick before we end the show, Semps. Give everyone your Twitter handles and where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at lsemps, and I also have a weekly podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram at Views TV Official, and on YouTube as well, Views TV Official. Nice one, people.
Yes, sir. Gary, shout yourself out real quick.
Yeah, you can find me at Twitter at RedDevil1972-1, and yeah, that's it really.
Yes, sir. And guys, you can follow me on Twitter at TemmyTalksUnited. It's right there. What is it? Right there. You can see it. You can see it. Follow me. It was a little difficult, getting my hands all.
That's me
whatever.
there.
Okay. Yes, sir. Subscribe to my YouTube channel as well at TemmyTalksUnited. The same thing as my Twitter. If you type that in, you'll get that. So guys, make sure to show some love to All for United. Show some love to these great gentlemen here. And we will be seeing you guys very, very, very soon. We are out of here.
Peace out.
Yeah.